Alana Heim of Prosperity Alignment. And today I want to talk to you about change. Change is imminent. Change is a big part of humanity. It's a big part of who you are. Now here's the thing. We're not always excited about change. Sometimes we maybe even feel like we're not equipped to handle change. But here's the thing. You were designed for change and to master it, to be really good at it. For example, if you weren't here on this earth as an evolutionary being where you're quick to change, you would have never been born, right? Like, let's go back a little further. You were able to adapt from this egg and this sperm that grew into you. And you went through changes every single second and every single day and month through that 9-month gestational period. You were constantly evolving. If change wasn't important, you would have never made it out of the womb, right? And let's go a little further. Let's look at it even when you did come out into this world and you were born. You didn't stay an infant. And you were constantly learning and growing and evolving and changing. And it's a big part of who we are. Even to think at that point of being an infant and moving into being able to even use your head, right? Grow the muscles, able to support your head, into this baby that could suddenly roll over and crawl and stand and walk. You did all of those things. And you are still evolving at that fast of a pace. When you look at a child, they are growing at such a fast pace, and it feels like more and more kids are able to do things faster than we were, or they're just learning so quickly. But that doesn't mean that you're not learning and that you're not growing and changing every day. So we get it in our heads that let's just have things stay the same. Wouldn't it be easy? Wouldn't it be nice? But then there's this part of you, this energy that stirs within you that's either bored or just needs something different, needs a new experience, that causes you to go out and change your environment, change the way you think, change what you eat, change the way you interact in the world. That is what helps you grow. Change is beautiful. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because we're in a really massive evolutionary change. Humanity is shifting. And it's exciting, right? Think of that toddler who's able to walk and run and throw a ball or do all these things for the first time. That's super exciting. And that's how we can perceive the world as it begins to shift at a very fast pace, something that we're not even expecting. Here's the thing. You're deeply supported. There are things in the world where it may feel difficult, but the more that you know yourself and you are changing into who you're here to be, right? Letting go of the old, letting go of people, places, things that no longer serve you, changing with the times, with the energy, rather than resisting and fighting it. That's what's going to make it feel easier or allow you to be in that same flow, moving with the energy of change rather than fighting it. And I encourage you to find your way to help yourself manage the change. This is the same with sickness, right? There's this resistance that we sometimes want to have in fighting the illness. For example, you get a fever, and we're taught to just go take some medicine to reduce the fever. That's not us in flow with the symptom or with what our body is going through and what it really needs. That's us masking or resisting the fact that the fever is there to help do a job, to fight off an infection or some bacterial or something that's in the body, right? The body knows exactly what to do to get rid of that. It has the mechanism. But when we resist the fever, right, because it's a nuisance and we have things to do and we're hot and we're uncomfortable and we just want it to go away, instead of allowing the fever to run its course, we want to stop it, right? We want to control the body and control the way we want it to have the result or the outcome. The more we continue on that path, the more resistance we put out there, the harder it is, right? If your body can't burn off the infection the way it wants to because you've got in the way, now you're sick longer, right? It lingers. There's more things going on in the body that you didn't foresee because you didn't allow nature to run its course. When we're out in the world, nature is still wanting to run its course, whether it be through some of the things that are going on in nature, the things that are going on in our systems, the things that aren't working, right? And the more we try and hold to that structure, even though there's an earthquake, right? Maybe the more that we're actually just getting in the way. And what I really want to say is for us to recognize the intuition, the knowingness. That's what we're here to listen to. And when you know change is coming, we don't have to be afraid of it. It's part of our evolution. It's part of who we are. And there's so much joy and excitement in change. And if we've been conditioned and learned how to be afraid of change rather to embrace it and feel that excitement, that's where I encourage you to break that pattern, to stop and start to have the awareness to question, why am I afraid of this? Where did I learn this? Who did I learn this from? Is this really me? Or is this something that it's time to let go of? So we are right at the tail end of the sun being in the gate 58, the gate of joy. So we're still playing with this energy of figuring out our joy and how to build that into our life and in our process. And I implore you to look at change in this way. How can change be joyful, right? How can we get back some of that fun and experiencing life in a totally different way instead of fearing it and being afraid of it? Where can we have more joy? Joy in the process. Joy in allowing the body to go through the fever, right? And you may think that's ridiculous. What joy could there be? Well, maybe you really do get that downtime or the bath that you need and the self-care that you've been needing but haven't had the time or given yourself the time to have an experience for yourself, to be generous with yourself. So joy is still a big piece, and we've got the south node that's also sitting in the gate 58. So the more that you can find your joy, the more you're going to set your path. And you're going to maneuver change like a pro, right? You're going to be so grounded in who you are and rooted in this joy that it doesn't matter what's going on in the world around you. You know you, and you're following that. And even when people tell you that you're doing it wrong or you should do it this way, you're doing it your way. That's all that matters. So the other big energy that's really going to be helping to shift humanity in this coming year is the energy of this inner truth that's coming through the gate 61. And we've already had Pluto dancing in this energy for this last year, and it stays. But we've got other planets that are moving into this same conjunct position. And Saturn just moved into the gate 61. So in January, we've got a lot of this activity. We've got the eclipse that's going to be happening right in this same energy. All of this inner knowingness is coming to you and the whole of humanity. You're going to start to receive the downloads of this knowingness, where the left and right hemispheres of your brain are just so integrated and connected that you're going to see the change. You're going to see what's coming, and you're going to know things on such a deep level that you can't prove it and you can't explain it, nor should you have to. Where you could literally be sitting watching a movie and you're going to know this movie is speaking to me. It is speaking the truth. In that same regard, you're going to start to recognize where maybe you're reading an article and you just call bullshit on it. And you know it's not true. And you know from somewhere deep within you what the truth is. You, me, every human on this planet is experiencing this energy. And whether you have it already in your design consistently or inconsistently, we are all going to be playing with and exploring what truth looks like and what this knowingness. Because when you just know, there is no fear there. And this is a highly individual energy where when we know things, we're going to be creating from that place, creating brand new change, brand new evolutionary processes, ways of doing things, and ultimately it comes from you being you. So what does that look like? Well, if we let fear come in, that may look like a whole lot of chaos, right? Because people are not going to understand the change. They're not going to know how to deal with it. But you do, and it's right inside of you. You know how to manage the process, right? Just like as an infant, you knew how to grow in your mother's womb. You knew how to then, in this physical body, begin to learn and observe and watch the world and figure it out and learn to crawl and walk and run and learn to do all of these things that you didn't know how to do. And in that same regard, that's what we're moving into. We're all going to be learning how to do new things, things we've never done, perhaps in this lifetime. Maybe some of the information that downloads begins to rejuvenate your mind to release certain powers and abilities that you never knew you had, that you never knew was possible, because this is an energy where we get to figure out the impossible and how to make manifest that into possibility. Anything and everything is possible. You have the ability, you have the mind, you have the willingness, the energy, so much inside of you to make it happen. To me, that's super freaking exciting. I don't have fear about that. And as I think about the world evolving and changing, where we don't have to put everybody in a box, in a system that doesn't work and is clearly broken, what else is possible? What else can we create, right? So, as you're moving into the new year and you're beginning to realize that there is some change, and maybe you've already started experiencing some big, intense energy that is causing you to let go of the old, that's great, right? I acknowledge you for that. That's the hard stuff, right? Is when we let go. But it frees you, it clears the space to allow for you to go down the path where you're meant to be, aligned with who you are, making more impact in the world, helping others to do the same. That's what this change is all about. That's what I'm excited for. And even if there is some chaos, right? As long as you're grounded in knowing yourself and being excited for the change and what's to come, more prosperity, more blessings, more love, I'll be right there with you. That's where I'm headed. That's the higher vibrational place that I reside. No matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's changing around me, as long as I'm changing with me and growing into me and my aligned higher self, that's what you're doing. That's what I'm believing. That's the energy I'm putting out there for you to create. That's the change I want to see in the world. And you get to be the change that you want to be. And change is imminent. It's the only permanent or constant thing in the world is change. And if you hear that old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same, bullshit. And that is definitely something I'm not saying. And that is not something I believe in. And I don't want to put energy into that because I don't believe that's true. Where we're headed is brand new territory. It's an energy that we individually are creating together to form the collective. And it starts with you. You believing in yourself and changing in the direction you want, because guess what? We are manifesting faster and faster. That veil is lifting. And 2020 That's a great year to have a clear vision of where you want to go and asking exactly for what you want. Not what you're afraid of, not what you don't want, because that can manifest too. You've got to be clear on what it is you want to create. And if you want to create change for the good, for the better, that's where you put your energy. If you want to manifest more love, more support, more money, go for it. You can have it. You can create all of that. And you can change as the world is changing. Grow into you. I am so excited, right? I'm excited for all this change. And I hope you are too. So Happy New Year. Many blessings as we move into 2020. Mwah, much love. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.